Right, fantastic. Well, we're here at AVA Academy at the App-Prentice Challenge. We're joined here by Roger, the headmaster. Thank you, Roger, for joining us. I wanted to ask you a few questions about the challenge and how you think it's went. So, first of all, just generally, how did you think the challenge went, please?
I thought it was exceedingly good. I was really, really impressed. I didn't know what to expect when I first went in there, but the level of creativity and flair was really clear, and not least the amount of technical ability that they demonstrated in a different context to that they would normally get in school. And I think the whole thing about raising cultural capital for them to see a bigger picture and to see the link between what they're doing there and the business application, I think, is invaluable.
Brilliant. And I mean, one of the things the App-Prentice tries to do is connect, industry with education. We find that's really important, and trying to, like you mentioned, increase their aspirations, the students' aspirations later on in life. And is there anything you saw individually that you thought really sort of proved that sort of that thesis of ours?
Yeah, I think it's about ambition, and there were people who were getting pretty fired up about what they were doing, and I believe that they, speaking with conviction and courage about what they were doing, and some of it was pretty heartfelt. I mean, the winning app, for example, was about anti-bullying, and you could tell that people actually owned it. They believed in what they were doing. They believed in the product massively, and what they did was absolutely first rate, and that was compounded, I think, by the technical ability that they demonstrated in putting the thing together, which I think people commented upon. And so the combination of that was really good. And then you got people who are thinking, right, well, if I can do this, I can do more. And that's the thing. It's sort of whetting the appetite for something that could be a lot bigger.
Yeah, and that was the great thing as well, I suppose, because they've got a clear objective that they need to deliver a product within a certain couple of days, and the project manager had to divide their resources up accordingly to deliver that. It's like a real world project, and we've had some of the students or some of the staff mention how this is some adults would struggle to do this within 2 days, and work as cohesively as we've seen. So so in terms of long term for the school, and what you think the school got for it and what you think is possible, is there anything you'd like to say about that?
Yeah, I think we'd want to look at this, the spin-offs from it, but definitely, the cohesion that the students showed and their ambition was something that we'd want to build on. So I think, we can emulate that, not necessarily doing the same thing, but emulate that in some ways with those people to raise ambition and raise aspirations is something that we would want to follow up on.
Brilliant. And if there's any schools looking to engage in a similar project, and obviously as a school that hasn't done this before and the first time we've come to, is there any words of advice you could give them?
Yeah, well, I'm probably a bad example because I didn't investigate it too much before I actually saw the things, but I was truly blown away with the quality of what they did and their commitment. I thought it was absolutely first rate, and I would recommend it without reservation to anybody.
Brilliant. That's very kind of you. Thank you. And finally, for organisations, businesses, enterprise looking to engage in their community, what do you think that will help them in terms of how they engage with young people and what young people think of their organisation as well?
I think definitely the context is everything there, but bridging the gap between what employers want and working with these young people is very important, because they're the employers at the end, but they want to see the skills and see people applying those skills in a context that they can understand. And as we already said before, in some of the other not necessarily this school perhaps, but in other schools, there are people demonstrating skills that are eminently employable, and people will want a piece of that, and that's really good. So I think the link for the employers to come into school and hoover up some of the talent is perhaps something that they might find as a real bonus.
I think I might have found a few apprentices as well from this event. So, well, listen, I really appreciate your time. Thanks ever so much for hosting us here with the App-Prentice at the school here, and also we really look forward to doing stuff in the future with you. We're really looking forward to maybe developing some of these apps and getting them into the school to make them useful. The students have worked so hard to get them so far, and especially like you said, the anti-bullying one, it was through the market analysis that they'd done, you could tell actually the students were really behind this as an app, and they thought it was really beneficial. So yeah, we're looking forward to hopefully trying to complete apps we've started and then working with yourselves as well. Anything finally you'd like to say?
I think one of the other apps that we looked at, it didn't win actually, it came second, but the commercial aspect of that I thought was pretty good. It was about the catering one, and pre-ordering, and I think that's something, if we can have that in school, done by students for students, I think that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got a sort of an app student council here in the making, haven't we? So, well, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, and wish you all the best. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Thank you.